Hello, my name is Kelly Bluen. I am a certified Zentangle teacher. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Zen, where I guide you through drawing a tangle using the Zentangle method. Today I'm using a Micron 03 pen, a Zentangle brand graphite pencil for shading, and a tortillon for blending. All you really need is a writing utensil and something to draw on. If you'd like to shade, any pencil will do. And if you want to blend, you can use the corner of a tissue or a Q-tip if you have one. All right, we're going to start this out by flipping over our tile. I'm writing the name of the tangle. This tangle today is called Mumsy. And it was created by Sandy Bartholomew. And to create this pattern, there's a couple different ways to start it, so I'm going to draw those on the back. The classic Mumsy is started with this 5-point, sort of a soft star shape. If that's a little tricky for you, go ahead and start with just 5 tear-shaped or raindrop-shaped petals. Okay? All right. So often when we do Zentangle, we start with the 4 dots and we create a little frame. For this piece, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to start right away with drawing this shape. So I'm only going to draw one of these today. And typically I would draw it in the middle, but then in the end, I'm always upset with myself if it's not quite centered, even though that doesn't matter. So to kind of avoid that, I'm just going to start off to the lower left-hand corner a little bit and just start off center. So I'm going to start with that little 5-point star shape. All right, and then to create this, it's going to be a series of kind of elongated petals. I'm just going to put them right in between here to start. And then inside each of these petals, I'm going to put in about 2 smaller petal-shaped lines. If you want to do more or less, feel free to do that. Okay. And now the rest of these petals are just going to build off of these ones, and we're not worried about making it symmetrical, so each one doesn't have to be in between another one. So I'm just going to start creating these sort of elongated petals. Like that. And then inside, I'm going to do this inner aura. And this is just giving these some texture. It's also a relaxing way to draw using one little pen stroke at a time. I'm going to add some longer ones. Again, I'm not worried about making these line up just right. The randomness is what makes it easier, and I think it looks prettier. And inside these, I add more of those little bumps. The Zentangle method is meant to be relaxing, and you're not meant to overthink what you are doing. So we're not actually meant to be creating a mum. We're just creating this pattern that somebody created by breaking down what the petals look like in a mum. I'm going to add one more row here, and if it goes off my page, that is okay. Just like that. And go back and add these little bumps. It's an interesting combination of being mindless and mindful, meaning I don't really have to think about what I'm doing and what I'm creating, but then mindfulness and just putting the pen to paper in this repeated fashion over and over again becomes very relaxing. All right, that's our Mumsy. Now I made it off to the side so that I could add a few more details. So I'm going to add some little leaf shapes. I don't know what an actual mum leaf looks like, so I'm just going to draw a couple little leaves, and I'm imagining them going right off my paper. Put in a little curved line. And add some of these little veins. And on this side. And I'm going to aura around these. Just to give it a little bit more detail. But I'm going to also add some fescue. And fescue is these little curved lines that come out and end in a teardrop. And we color those in. Can add a couple facing the same way. Can also do a curve that crosses over and comes out the other side. I add a few little dots for an enhancement. And over here I'm going to do the same thing. Trying to make them different lengths, different sizes. Crisscrossing over each other. And adding some dots. All right, now I'm going to take my pencil and do some shading. So for Mumsy, I like to start with this very first little star shape we made. And I'm just going to very lightly put a little bit of graphite around the outside. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to go around each petal. This looks very flat right now, so to make it kind of pop out and look three-dimensional, I'm going to add some graphite around the outside edge of these petals. So go to the outside edge of each petal and just add a little bit of graphite. Go to the next row. On that outside edge. By doing this, you create these little shadows. It makes it look like each petal is stacked above the others. I'm even going to go around this outside set of petals. I'm not putting a lot. That will make it look like the whole shape is sort of popping off the page. Okay. I'm also going to add some shading to the inside line of these leaves. And then again to the inside of that outer edge of the leaves. Okay, now I take my tortilla and I'm going to start blending. I know it's a little bit hard to see in this video. I'm just going to soften around each of these petals. I don't have a lot to do. I'm just not going to overwork it. Just want to give it that illusion of being a shadow. And this outer edge, softening that. Going inside these leaves. And softening around this outside here. Leaving some white in the middle. And I'm going to take my tortilla, and it's already a little bit dirty, and I'm just going to add some graphite to the outside of these leaves to help lift it off the page a little bit. Look at how much dimension that adds. And that's Mumsy. If you'd like to go back and add some color, here's one that I created using a little bit of color. And here's another one. This one got really dark, but I added some shading and color in there. All right, the last thing we do is we always initial our work. And then I like to flip it over. And I always put the date. And then I create a little one-sentence journal entry about what's on my mind or what's in my heart this week as I am trying to take 15 minutes for myself and relax. What's on my mind? What am I thinking about? So always date your work. Always put a little journal entry. Thanks so much for joining.